If only I had spidey senses, so I can tell when something's wrong. Oh, and I'm in search to protect this heart from breaking into pieces. Where's my hammer? Where's the shield? Oh, the strength to carry the weight of the world. Fly high into the sky. I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall. Fly high into the sky. I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall.
Now, here's your host, DJ Host with the Most.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Snap Decisions, the 2026 episode of Snap Decisions, the first of the new year. And I was hoping to get it out a little bit earlier, but you know me, and I always usually do it late. But in any case, I am here, and of course, we've got a lot to talk about today, as usual. Coming to the end of the Weapon X season, I'm at 98. 98. Can I have one of those fly under the radar, kind of get over into infinite type months again? In the last couple days of the month, we'll see. I'll let you know a deck that I'm playing to do so, and some other decks, of course, when we get to the Snap Talk portion of the show. But this one's going to be a little bit different. Of course, we're going to start off the show with card ranks for the upcoming season, and of course, that's all about dragons. Dragons. So, which is kind of fitting, I guess. Maybe, you know, the theme of this show might end up kind of reflecting that a little bit, because in the MCU Minute, which, yeah, I guess it's really not MCU, but I'm going to talk about Stranger Things because, well, it's been one of my favorite shows that I've ever watched. And it came to an end, which was quite sad that it did, like all the farewells to shows that I've watched over the years that I've really enjoyed. It's sad to see them go. And but I'll be talking about that. I'm not going to spoil it in case that you're still waiting to watch the end, although I can't imagine why you wouldn't have watched the finale by now if you're a big fan of the show. But I will. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later on in the show. But we're also going to do a look back, which I've seen a lot of creators kind of doing a look back at 2025. I know KM Best went back and did a list of his, and there's been some others that have done that as well. Regis Kilbin, I think, was going back, and some people are grading the cards over the course of the year. Not sure I'll do exactly that, but I will take a look back at 2025, and we'll do the highs and the lows. We'll do the highs and the lows of Marvel Snap in 2025, and of course that'll include, you know, some cards, and then some things that maybe I didn't like very much, as, you know, there's always likes and dislikes. So we'll go through those. We'll talk about in Comics Corner, of course, we have Fantomex, who we will discuss in Comics Corner for this week. I have some other little comic things to talk about in there too. Just some, of course, I do my picks for the week and things like that, and some books that I'm looking at, and we'll go over that as well. And of course, we'll get to the rest of the pod as well. We'll talk about. We'll get, of course, to the MCU Minute. Of course, I'm going to review the Thor teaser, because the Thor teaser now has hit the Marvel site, just as the Chris Evans Captain America one has as Everybody is looking forward to the next one, because the next one has already leaked, and it is a X-Men trailer. So very, very cool. And, people have shown it because I guess they're seeing it in theaters, but it hasn't gotten to Marvel's site yet. So I'm not going to discuss it in length. But as you can imagine, with everybody's love for the X-Men, it's a very, very cool trailer. Now the rumor is we might be getting five trailers. So we're going to get another one after the X-Men, which is rumored to be Fantastic Four and Black Panther. So the Wakandans, sorry. And then there's supposed to be now a fifth. Now the fifth one, I'm kind of thinking that may end up coming during the Super Bowl. And if that's the case, because there was four that were rumored, and the last one that they had said was going to be Doom himself. So I think what's going to happen is, if they're going to reveal Dr. Doom, I think that's going to be during a big trailer, which I think is going to probably air during the Super Bowl. So, which would make it in February? So it'd be in February at some point. But that's exciting. So we'll talk about that. We'll do the lyric challenge as always. We'll talk a little video games. And so we'll do all that. Before I get into it here, I wanted to tell you guys, well, first of all, happy holidays. I know I wished you all a Merry Christmas last week. I hope you all had an awesome New Year, whatever you chose to do, whether you chose to go out and stuff like that. And we just kind of stayed home. Of course, I watched Stranger Things. There was no way I was missing that. Tuned in right away. I didn't have any problems. I know there were people that it was lagging, was shutting down on them. I didn't run into any problems, thankfully. So I was able to watch the whole 2-hour and some minute finale all the way through. And then we ended up watching, my wife and I ended up watching New Year's Rockin' Eve, that's been a tradition in my life as long as I can remember. Even when I was a youngster, when my parents would go out, my mom was always a waitress, so my mom was probably working a lot on New Year's Eve. So I was many times at home with my grandparents, and they'd come and they'd watch us until my parents would get home. And but we would always watch the ball drop and New Year's Rockin' Eve. Of course, back then it was with Dick Clark, who I always thought Dick Clark was Dick Clark. You want to know what kind of inspirations that I had, and one of the reasons why I wanted to be a DJ in the first place was because of the inspirations I had. Not only the music that I listened to, but there's also people like Dick Clark and others, Casey Kasem, who did the weekly top 40. But those guys, they were the voices of my childhood. They were the people who I heard on radio and stuff like that. And those were the guys who I really, kind of wanted to be. And then that's what made me look to that and try to become that. It didn't work out. Of course, I didn't make a career out of it, but I got a chance to do it, which was exciting. And there have been even DJs that have been around me that are local to this area. Some are still going after all these years. In our area, I've gotten to know one now over the years. He became a customer of mine in Best Buy when I was working in Best Buy, and really nice guy. He actually does weddings and stuff on the side, as a lot of DJs kind of do when they're not doing the radio. They kind of figure out a little bit of other things to supplement their income. And I got to do some weddings and stuff, which was a lot of fun and very easy now, by the way, because it's very easy to pull up music now on your iPhone or your iPad and just get almost anything anybody wants to listen to, which in the past you had to bring a whole bunch of records, you had to bring a whole bunch of tapes and CDs and stuff like that. It was a little harder to do, but now it's just very easy. But he was the DJ at my friend's, one of my best friend's wedding. And I've gotten to know him over the years, and very nice guy. But he's another guy I've been listening to since I was a very young man, and he's still going strong and still doing the DJ stuff. So, but yeah, it's always cool, and so that's to this day I still watch it, and they were doing, it was cool because they had a lot of '80s stuff happening at one of the shows, because they broadcast live now, not just from New York City, but they broadcast live from other places at the same time. So there's always like one that's down south in a little bit warmer weather. There's always one in California that they kind of shoot out to. But they had some bands, some of my favorites from the 80s, that were doing some stuff on the shows. Rick Springfield was on there singing Jesse's Girl. Love that song, and I've always loved. In fact, I saw Rick in concert. I actually saw him when we went to see him. I saw him in a restaurant, a local restaurant that did Chinese. We went to eat there prior to going to the concert, and the restaurant was very close to where the venue was. So I remember being in there and we're eating, and then I remember going into the other room to go to the bathroom. And when I walked past, the sushi bar was in there, and there he is. I see Rick Springfield in the sushi bar, which was very cool. And so I got to say a few words to him, which was neat. But there were some other artists on there too, that were the Goo Goo Dolls were actually on there, which if you their song Name. And of course, Iris and so many other things that they did over the years. They kind of came from nowhere. They originated as a pretty heavy metal band. Like, they were definitely not that melodic rock that they ended up being. They were kind of like a punkish metal band that came out like in the late 80s. So they've been around for a while. And but the lead singer looks good. He looks good. He's still going strong, and of course, but yeah, there were some other bands and stuff on there as well. So it was just fun, when you get to see that. I remember watching New Year's Rockin' Eve. I think one of my favorites. Well, of course, Kiss played on one. They were doing a show under one of the bridges in New York City. And that was for New Year's Rockin' Eve. They were doing, of course, they did Rock and Roll All Night. They play, so that was cool. But one of the best performances I think I've seen on there was Panic at the Disco, and this is when they were first getting popular. All people heard was the "I Write Sins Not Tragedies." Was pretty much all they heard from them. But they came out and they did like 3 or 4 songs during the night. Really got me into that band. I went out and bought, that's one of my favorite albums to this day. It's so good. And now my daughter likes them. My oldest, she just went to a concert, I think, in Vegas to see them. But yeah, so it's always fun. And then of course you get the ball drop at midnight, and a bunch of our neighbors were firing off fireworks and things like that. So, I hearken back to, now, when my parents were home, we lived in half a double, and next door to me was my cousin. So my father's cousin, and they were like my third or fourth cousins, but they lived next door to us. So of course the fathers are doing a little drinking, little alcoholic beverages, and then their tradition was to go outside. And they would get their shotguns, and they'd be shooting their shotguns up into the air. Very safe, holidays are always, they're trips down memory lane. You remember the things that you did when you were a kid, and then when you got a little bit older, I can remember bartending once with my father. When I was helping him out when I was in my early 20s, and we were doing a New Year's Eve thing at the place that he worked. So it's always nostalgia. It's always memories. It's cool things like that. And And that's when you have children and stuff. You kind of hope that they are having cool memories like that too. I know my 2 daughters are out and stuff like that for New Year's as well. So yeah. So it was it's always pretty cool when you have holidays and stuff like that. And then 2026, here's to a very happy and safe 2026 to you all. And of course, bigger and better things for me and for the podcast. I'm always changing things around a little bit. In fact, just last night, I finally figured out how to hook up my podcast, my audio podcast, to my YouTube page. And people are thinking like, yeah, that's not hard. You just do it through YouTube Studio. Yeah, but I was trying to do it through my mobile phone, which was not working. I was in YouTube Studio. I could not find the button to do it. And here, I guess it must be some kind of thing with iOS, because when I'm in YouTube Studio, it just is not giving me the option to connect my RSS feed for the podcast. It's just not giving me the options. So I backed out and I went to YouTube Studio online via my, via the iPhone internet, and I went into it that way. And then I found it. I'm like, there it is. So it had to be something with the app on the phone just isn't allowing me to do it. But in any case, I was able to sync it. So now you can go to my YouTube page and you can listen to all the past podcasts that I did. Although not really sure why you'd want to, because obviously it's old information. It's stuff from, but yeah, if you're into that and where the podcast has come from all these months, you certainly could do that. They are all up on my YouTube page right now. And now going forward, when one of these gets published, they will be on my YouTube page as well. And I did see that the last one that I did that with, it got a pretty good amount of views. I was kind of surprised. Not people didn't listen for a ton of time, but I was surprised I got any views on it. So thank you to all those who have done that. Some people just like to chill on YouTube, and instead of using an audio podcast format, they just like to do it on YouTube because it's sometimes just a little bit easier. I'm like, everybody has YouTube. Not everybody always has Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anything like that. But they are available now to you all to go ahead and listen to. And a lot of those are just podcast conversions of my guests. So you guys can go back and you could listen to Nina is Noob on my podcast. You can listen to Regis Kilbin, who's been on my podcast. Glazer, of course, from Snap Judgments, Nick the Greek Geek, Lauren Whatevs, Prashawn, Super Tech God. Oh my gosh. Of course, I'm forgetting people. Nerf Herder, the Super Snap Bros, Tucker has been on there. Oh my gosh. There's been so many, but, if you ever want to go back and listen to because I kind of pride myself in those. I always like talking the game with people. And Kieran Nimbus has been on, Burb has been on, so many people. Benjamin Roller, that whole group has been on. But you can go back and listen to a lot of those, and you get to know them a little bit better, and just a little bit of things that I discovered maybe about them that we talked about that were not necessarily Marvel Snap things. Might have just been other interests that we all had and things like that. So you can go check those out on my YouTube page. And if you do, I would be forever grateful if you liked the videos and subscribed to the channel. I'm looking to try to get that going, and it's around 600 or so subs right now, which that's not too bad. But I would like to get it to the point where it gets upwards of 1K. And of course, to do that, I've got to get more stuff on there. That's basically what it is. The algorithm for YouTube isn't very good to people who don't put a lot of content up. So you've got to commit with YouTube a little bit to do a good amount of content to keep continuing to get people seeing your channel. Period. So, but that's it. You guys can help me out in that respect. You can spread the word, and like I said, just subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Plus, I had my first 3 giveaways from Second Dinner for season passes, and I'm sure I'm going to be getting them again for this new month. So the upcoming Dragon month, if you're not necessarily someone that's going to go right out and buy the season pass, and you want to wait for a little bit, I'll be doing, I'm sure, another giveaway for some season passes. So stay tuned for that. Usually, I'll have something on the socials, something on X, something on Blue Sky, where you gotta do a couple easy things in order to qualify. So, congrats to the winners, and I thank you all for doing that. But watch for that, because we will be having that again very soon. So, but anyway, yeah. So that's just a little start of the portion of the show. So now we are going to get into the upcoming season, of course, which starts already next week. And we're going to look at the Dragon series. And we're gonna rank these cards. Now, I talked a bit about them before, a couple of weeks back on the pod, but we're going to rank the cards this time. So we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It looks like 11. It looks like 11 cards this month that we are getting. So we will rank them 11 to 1. So that is how we will go. And let's just go over them again really quickly here, all right? So we're going to start off with the season pass, which is Xiaolao the Undying. And he is a 5/3 on reveal. Give the last character you played a +3 power for each turn you played 2 or more cards. So you gotta have some cards that you're going to be able to play down here. Now, you know who he's going to work very well with, and that's Merlin. Because, you got those skills flying out every single turn that you're going to be able to play one of those. So Merlin's going to be a big one for him. What else? You've got, you just put skills in your deck, if you don't want to necessarily play with Merlin. But I know a lot of people love having him in the deck anyway. So Xiaolao is gonna love that kind of stuff, and he's gonna be the last character you played +3 power for each turn you played 2 or more cards. So you're gonna be inclined to want to play 2 cards per turn. I'm not sure what kind of deck types other than, I guess Zoo, because you play a lot of cards in Zoo decks. So yeah, it's obviously a buff type of card. Then we have Lockheed. Lockheed is end of turn. If you played a 1-cost card this turn, afflict an enemy here with -2 power. So it's an affliction card. Now, the only disadvantage to this right now is a lot of people have been playing some affliction because of Fantomex. And because of that, Luke Cage has made an appearance back into the meta. A lot of people are playing decks with Luke Cage. They're just kind of throwing him in there. People are even playing Rogue to get rid of Luke Cage and things like that. So just be aware, if you're thinking of going the Affliction route to start off the season, that a lot of people are going to be playing Luke Cage. And people have been because of the fastball special and things like that, where, that just ruins that deck, right? That just ruins that card. Because they're not going to be able to get you with that big hit, that big negative hit, if you have Luke Cage in your deck. So I had someone play against me when I had Luke in the deck, and they hit me with fastball special. The very next turn, I played Luke, and boom, all of a sudden all the power is back. So yeah, just be aware that people are playing a lot more Luke Cage lately. Had to get a drink, the drink of choice. Caffeine-free Diet Cream Soda. Diet Cream Soda. The next one is Dragon of the Moon. This is a 3/2 on reveal, steal 1 power from even-costed cards in all hands. Now, again, these still could change, right? They still could change. So we'll see. This one is a skill. This is called Majestic Wing Beat. On reveal, give the leftmost card in your hand +2 power. If it's 5 cost or higher, -1 cost as well. So these skill cards we're getting pretty good with these skill cards. These skill cards are pretty good cards. Then we go to some Series 4. Now those were all Series 5 except for Majestic Wing Beat is Series 4. And so then we will go. That is week 1. So that's the first week those 4 cards are coming out. Then we're going to go to week 2. And that's going to be, and I still don't know how to pronounce this. It could be Lean Lee or Lin Lee Iron Fist. Not 100% sure, but he is on reveal, add the sword of Fuzi to another location. Ongoing, if Lin Lee Iron Fist is here, he has +7 power. So if he somehow gets to that other location via moving him or however you're going to do it, then he gains a +7 power and becomes a 2/9. It's pretty good. And then, of course, you have the sword there too. And then we're going to go to, so that's week 2, that's January 13th. Then we're going to go to January 20th, week 3, and that is Fin Fang Foom, another 7 cost card. And this guy is for sure. Now, the last 7 cost card we got was Zombie Galacti. But this card here is a hella card. No doubt in my mind. On reveal, gain the power of front row enemy cards here. So you're always going to have front row cards down with Hela, right? And Fin Fang Foom, when you play him out, is going to gain the power of those front row cards. So he could be a big boy. It's a 7/12, like I said. Let's just say you have a Corvus Glaive. That's +5, right? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Never mind. It's enemy cards. It's a front row of enemy cards here. So, but he's still going to be a pretty big boy. But I can bet you that we're going to see a lot of Hela in that week. I would bet you we will. And then we have January 27th to the 30th, and this is week 4. And this is going to be Shang-Chi, Master of Rings, who is a Series 5. Fin Fang Foom was also Series 5. Game start. The 10 rings start in your hand. On reveal, unlock their potential. On reveal, give one of your other cards here +1 power. So that's what Shang-Chi does. End of turn, give your other cards here +1 power. So it's on reveal and end of turn. Now that's something you may want to look into with an Invisible Woman kind of a deck. An end of turn, obviously end of turn deck. And then we have Dragon Lord, who's a 5/5, Series 4. On reveal, put a card from your hand here. Put a card from your hand here. So that's pretty good, right? Like, the cards in your deck are always good. You get them out, get an extra card out. That's not bad. And then, of course, Shang-Chi has the rings and stuff like that. So you're going to have all kind of stuff from the rings as well. And then, now these are cards that they don't really have a release date set as yet. But this is going to be a couple more skills. You have Brand of Shaolao. This is on reveal. One of your other cards here steals 2 power from the character that costs the most in your opponent's hand. So you're stealing power. So again, affliction deck a little bit here. Then we have Dragon Breath. The Brand of Shaolao is a 1 cost. Dragon Breath is a 4. Dragon Breath says, on reveal, give a 5 cost or higher character in your hand negative or +3 power. Afflict an enemy card at each location with -2 power. So again, more affliction here. But all that tells me is that more Luke Cage. And then we have Dragon Man, who is a 4/6 Series 4. End of turn, +1 power for each location. That's full on your side. All right. So let's rank these cards. Like I said, we have 11, right? 1, 2, 3. Let me make sure. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we have 11 cards. So I'm going to start all the way at the bottom. I'm going to start at number 11. And number 11, number 11, I'm going to go with Hand of Xiao Lao. 1 cost skill card, but it's kind of boring. Unreveal one of your other cards here. Steals 2 power from the character that costs the most. I mean, you're thinking a 6 cost, but could a 6 cost deal with losing 2 power? Many times, probably more than likely. They've got kind of inflated power anyway. Even if you're playing like let's say like a Sauron deck, and maybe it targets Red Skull, you're going down at 12. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. So as opposed to Dragon Breath and then Wing Beat, I'm going to say that this one's the most boring one of them. So I'm going to put that as my number 11. Number 10, I'm going to put down Dragon Man here. Series 4 card, end of turn, +1 power for each location that's full on your side. I mean, you don't always play you don't always play to fill your entire locations. In fact, a lot of people don't like to do that until usually sometime at the very end of the game, if you're going to do it. So this is an end of turn ability. And so he is going to get, get it every end of turn, but again, like what kind of a deck are you going to play when you're filling your locations that quickly? And again, it looks like maybe a zoo deck, a zoo list. I just don't know. And I myself tend to stay away from filling my lanes until later in the game. So I don't really think that the synergy here is going to be with this unless you're playing zoo. And I don't see much of that around anymore. Every now and then it comes back in game modes, but yeah, I'm just not seeing it with this. So that's going to be my number 10, is going to be Dragon Man. Number 9. Number 9. I'm not so sure about Shang-Chi. Yeah, the rings are going to do stuff and everything like that. But I mean, I guess the question that you have to ask, and so many people are talking about duplicate characters, right? We seem to be always getting a lot of duplicate characters now. And I know I was kind of saying that when people were talking about it when it was happening during Fantastic Four First Steps, I was kind of opposed to that because I kind of didn't really care because they were doing the movie stuff and they were doing the movie stuff. My TV was muted and I hit the mute button by mistake, or the unmute rather. But it's now it's kind of getting. It's kind of getting a little on the silly side, I think, a bit, where you're just, I think it's maybe they are getting a little carried away with this. Shang-Chi is one of the best cards in Marvel Snap, always has been. And even now it's not living its heyday like it was before. It's kind of fallen out of the meta a little bit. It's not so prevalent anymore. But it's still a good card. And now it's starting to find its way back a little bit into decks and things like that, where it wasn't before. There's a high Evo deck now that plays it. So did we really need a second Shang-Chi? And I get it. It's different, it's got, you've got the 10 rings, so you're going to have now a Shang-Chi that does skills. I don't know. I think it may be getting just a little bit carried away with the duplicates. And I know there's other people that are kind of saying that too. That Marvel's got so many characters that there shouldn't be a lot of reasons why people should be playing like a lot of duplicate cards. To me, there just shouldn't be. And I think it's just starting to get a little bit out of hand now. So all that said, I'm going to put Shang-Chi next. So he's going to be my number 9. So we went 11, 10, and 9. So we went the brand of Xiao Lao, and then we went Dragon Man, and then we're going to go Shang-Chi. Now, I could be completely wrong, and maybe it'll be a fun card, but we'll see. We'll see. Right ahead of him, I'm going to put the Series 4 card. I'm going to put Dragon Lord, because the stat line on him is bad unless they change it. It's a 5/5, so it's a crappy stat line. But I do kind of like getting another card out. I mean, yeah, you're playing him on turn 5, but now you're going to get 2 cards out on that turn because you're putting a card from your hand with him. So, I don't know. To me, getting to play 2 cards in a turn, especially on turn 5, when a lot of times you're playing a big card out, I don't know. I think that's not bad, especially for a Series 4 card. So he's going to be my number 8. Number 7. I'm going to go with the skill with Dragon Breath here at number 7. Give a 5-cost or higher character in your hand plus 3 power. Afflict an enemy card at each. Yeah, you're giving power and you're taking away from your opponent. So not bad. And I think it's decent. I think it's decent. So of the skills, obviously not the best one, I don't think, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But I'm going to put Dragon Breath at number 7. Number 6. I'm going to go with the other skill, and that's the Majestic Wing Beat. That's also Series 4. On reveal, give the leftmost card in your hand plus 2 power. If it's a 5-cost or higher, -1 cost. So that is definitely the best skill. But the demands of it, 5-cost or higher, where is this going to go? What kind of deck's it going to go into? I don't know, maybe a Sarin deck, because you want to get those big boys out, and it's gonna make it cost less. I'm not sure, but I think of all the skills, I think this is the best one. Although the skills this month, I don't think they're great. I'm not seeing a deafening chord. I'm not seeing a fastball special, of course, in any of these skills. So that's going to be number 6. Number 5. I'm going to go with Lin Lee, and of course the sword. And the reason I'm putting him at number 5 is because I'm not a move player in any way, shape, or form. I don't like move. Even when move got prevalent a couple months ago, I tried to play it, and I'm just not good at it. I could freely admit it. The people that play move and are good at it, kudos to them. They're doing a lot of brain work and a lot of thinking. But that's just not me, and that's not the way I like to play. Now, this may turn out to be pretty good. I told you, the stat line is good. A 2.9, that's pretty good. That's pretty darn good. And it doesn't seem like it's going to be a lot to do, especially if you're playing a move kind of a deck. So, but again, I'm gonna rank him where I have him at number 5 because of the fact that, again, it's just not for me. And it's not a card that I can see myself playing a lot of. So Lin Lee is my number 5. Number 4. I'm going to go with Dragon of the Moon at number 4. On reveal, steal 1 power from even costed cards in all hands. I mean, he could get pretty big, right? Because he's stealing the power. So he can get pretty big. Is that going to afflict them with damage? I think that's the question that I'm having, because it would be better if it will. But I can't remember the time a time that we had a steel power card. I know we've gotten them, but just right off the top of my head, I can't remember right now whether or not whether they're gonna come into play with 1 less power, and in which case that would work pretty well in an affliction type of deck. I mean, obviously, this is kind of an anti-Arashim card a little bit too, because they're just going to get random cards, right? So the chances are of them having probably more even costed cards than just a normal deck would. So yeah, I'm still going to put him. I'm still going to put him at number 4. Just because, and again, like I said, you have to watch with Luke Cage too, because, I think that's going to end up being pretty prevalent. My number 3 is going to be Lockheed. End of turn, if you played a 1-cost card this turn, afflict an enemy here with -2 power. So, again, Lockheed is going to be very good for a certain type of deck. A lot of 1-cost cards. But, again, High Evo is back, and it's got a lot of 1-cost cards in it. So, you've got Sunspot, you've got Nebula, you've got Misty Knight. So there's a lot of 1-cost cards in there that you can get Lockheed to trigger with. And, obviously if you play like a Zoo deck, but, even if you play like the Invisible Woman kind of end of turn, you're still going to have, you might have Black Cat in there. Well, they don't really play Black Cat anymore, but you're still going to have Sunspot in there. There might be some other decks too that use a lot of 1-cost. So I think that for a 2-1, I think, Lockheed will find his way into some decks. Plus, a lot of people just love the character, right? Just love the character. So we'll see. I mean, who doesn't love a purple dragon? Number 2. This was a tough choice. At number 2, I'm going to go with the Season Pass, and I'm going to go with Xiao Lao, the Undying. On reveal, give the last character you played a +3 power for each turn you played 2 or more cards. So again, not the easiest thing to do, because you're not always going to, but I mean, it kind of is, right? Because so many people play Merlin in their decks, so it's going to be pretty easy to do that. And you're going to you're going to hand out +3 power as an on reveal here for each turn that you did it. So I mean, that's this is pretty good. It's pretty good, and that's gonna add a good amount to his power and stuff like that. So and just make him that much of a better card. So I think it's a pretty good Season Pass, pretty interesting. So that's my number 2, and number 1. And this could be a little bit because I love the character so much too, but I'm going with Fin Fang Foom. We've been waiting for this dude forever, man. He's been in data mines for as long as I can remember. And he's finally here. Gotta love the 7-costed cards. I think they're just fun. I wasn't fond of Zombie Galacti, but obviously Death. I've played with Death for a long, long time. And I think this guy will, like I said, watch out for Hela, because I think he's going to be a Hela staple. And again, he's on reveal, gain the power of front row enemy cards here. So like I say, he's just going to be a big boy. And if you discard him and get him back at the end of the game with Hela, he's going to drop into a lane. And then not only is he going to drop into a lane at 7/12, he's going to steal the power of your front row enemy cards. So that's a big dude. And if people have big cards in those front rows, man, this could get, I mean, you could probably easily get him up to 18 to 20. And that's just going to win a lane. That's just going to win a lane. You know, you play Hella where you want to try to put your Hella in a lane where you think she's going to be able to win it. But now this guy could just drop and just win one lane. Now, he may not go where you necessarily want him to go because, of course, that's that random pull with Hella. But this card, I think, is going to be good. I think this card is going to be good. So, and plus, come on, it's Fin Fang Foom. So there you go. That is my card ranks. I'm sure that they'll probably all be messed up and wrong, and people will figure out how to use these new cards in a lot better way. But anyway, that is my card ranks for this upcoming month, and that is the spin for today's show. So, all right, we're gonna move on here, and let's see where we're headed next. I got to get the let me pull up the agenda. It's been a while since I posted the agenda. All right, so we're going to do, now normally this would be where I have the listener or the request line section. But I didn't really do any polls or anything like that this time. And I'm going to leave it up to you guys to give me, after you listen to the pod, give me your best and worst of Marvel Snap for this year. Give me your best and worst. Tell me what you love the most about the game. And it could be anything. It could be a card. It could be maybe a hit infinite for the first time. It could be a variant you got or a split you got. Whatever. Let me know what your best and let me know what your worst is of Marvel Snap for this year. Okay? So that's going to be up to you guys, and then I could always read them off on next week's episode. So do that for me, and you guys know where to hit me up. My Discord, Snap Decisions. I'm also over in Glazer's Discord and Snap Judgments. I have a section there. You can hit me up on X. You can hit me up on Blue Sky. You can hit me up in the comments of the pod, which now is on YouTube. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it over and over. It is now on YouTube. The pod is now on YouTube. So you can go and comment over there, or you can comment on Spotify or Apple or wherever it is that you listen to your podcasts. So let's go over some bests and worsts, okay? Now, this is my personal list. May not make yours, but, this is my personal list. Let's start with the bad. I always like to start with the bad, get the bad out of the way, and then work to the good. Bad. The day that Marvel Snap went away. Wow. What a day that was. I mean, talk about completely unexpected. And here it was because of a political, basically a political thing, right? And I can't stand politics really in any way. I do my share. I vote and stuff like that, and vote for the people that I believe in as much as I could. But the fact that this all happened because of a political thing and the game was taken down, it's like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. Like I told you guys on a pod way back when I talked about this, I was shocked. I went to play and we, I did hear that some of the apps and stuff like that from overseas were going to be affected. Well, it didn't really even dawn on me, right? Because, that was when Second Dinner, or, that was when they were with Newverse, which, of course, is based overseas. But I didn't think for 2 seconds that was going to be the case, that was going to have any sort of impact or anything on the game. And then, and I think I told you guys this story. I had kept my game open for the longest time. And I had kept it, and I just had it open. I was doing other things that day, but I just never really closed it out, as I do with apps sometimes. But luckily I did, because I go on and the game is still open, so I'm still able to play. And I'm playing, and I'm like, I'm looking at comments and stuff like that in Discord, and people are saying the game's down. And I'm like, the game's not down for me. I don't know what they're talking about. And then, of course, as time went on, and I realized what happened, and eventually, I turned my phone off, and then once I did, I was kicked off. And then I think I even did a podcast that day about it, actually. So there you go. You can go back and listen to that one. But I did a podcast about it, a quick little audio podcast talking about it, my thoughts on it. But yeah, that was crazy. And it stayed down for a good while. I mean, we got some, kudos, of course, to Second Dinner. They were probably just as surprised as we all were. But they did, got it straightened out relatively quickly. I was a little nervous because, now I did go and I got a VPN to play on. And so I was able to do that. But I was a little nervous in the fact, thinking that, how long is this going to be? Because, if this is a government type thing or a political type thing, this could be down for a while. Thankfully, it wasn't. And then we all got some pretty good compensation for it. So that turned into a win, but that had to be one of the worst moments for all of us playing, and obviously for the devs and stuff, and the guys that make the game as well. That was insane. Another worst for me, man. I mean, you guys know this if you've been listening to my pod, and I'm sure you probably knew I was going to say it, but the damn bots, man. Oh, God, I've talked ad nauseum about the bot stuff and the bot problems and the cheater bots and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not gonna rehash it. But that was literally one of the worst things for me this year, because I look in my meta and where I was, I just happened to be getting a lot of them. And I don't know whether it was because of my high CL level. I don't really know. But I just was getting a lot of it. And I guess I probably do know, is because it was when I was playing, the time of the day that I was playing, especially now. The game losing a lot of players and stuff. And now, there I am playing at 2, 3 a.m. when there probably isn't anybody on. And so I am getting a ton of bots. And, then finally we got confirmation from Second Dinners talking about the bots and saying how that the bots are trained to play better now, and and stuff like that. And although they did say that they can't see the cards, or they can't see your cards, boy, I'll tell you, it sure felt like it a lot. And getting to Infinite this year was just a absolute chore. So I'll move on to that as another worst. The year prior, I hit Infinite probably 7 times, maybe 8 times, might have been a little more than that. But this year, I think I've only hit it, I think, twice. Now, if I hit it this time, I think it's going to be 3 times. So that climb to Infinite is just so sweaty now, and so much harder to do. That definitely was one of my worsts of the game, because it just made a thing that is really their primary game mode not be as nearly enjoyable as it was, and so I got to the point where I just gave up, and I'm like, screw it. I'll just try to get to the high 80s or 90 and get to 500 gold, and that's it. I'm done. I'm not going to continually go through this and get myself all worked up and stuff like that about it. So, and then I've got just 2 more, and these are kind of little nitpicky things, but one is the artwork a little bit kind of got to me, because, and again, I'm not condemning the studios, but I do miss the comic book stuff. And I saw someone make a comment about this to the devs, and they did say they're going to get more comic book art and things like that. So I'm hoping that's true. But I missed that, man. That's what got me interested in this game. And I want to see more of it. And more of the comic book covers. I used to get so excited when the comic book covers would come out. I love to split those and everything. Make them. I love to get them inked because it really reminds me of that, that old style comic when you're seeing it before it was colorized. And you're seeing pictures of the artist drawing it in black and white. So I miss that. And, and like I said, the studios are all well and good, but I just, for my liking and my taste, I just want to see more comic book stuff, more art, more artists doing things, and that's just me. That's just one of my little things. And then, now I'm going to forget the last one. Certainly I could say prices. It's rough out there, guys, if you hadn't noticed. For everything. Everything's gone up. You can't walk out of a grocery store with a couple bags of groceries and not spend $60-$70. And for second dinner to start raising their prices and again, I mentioned this before when I talked about this in prior episodes. I'm not begrudging them making money because times are tight for everybody. And I get it. They're in business because they want to make money. And so, we had the Kid Omega incident, which is probably one of people's worsts of the year. Then they got a little generous with some of the game modes, but then it kind of seems like it reverts back again. So the pricing of the game has gotten a little rough, and with the extended season pass and all that kind of stuff, which I know a lot of people that I know aren't getting. But so yeah, that's really my, I guess you could say, grievances, my worsts of the year in the game. And I mean, of course, I could also say just the loss of players. That's something I definitely don't want to see. But as it happens with just about every mobile game, over the course of its life, it happened with Snap. And Snap is going to come across some more competition. I talked about the Star Wars game that's coming out. I don't know if it'll be this year, but Star Wars is a huge IP. And if they make a game that is pretty good, I'm not saying it's going to be the same as Snap. I'm not saying it's going to be made the same, but if it's a digital card game and it's pretty good, you can bet that you're going to get players that are going to play it. You can bet that some of your favorite content creators are going to stream it. I already heard Regis Kilbin mentioning it. So the loss of players is tough. Now the good thing is they did some things to bring players back. So let's go to the best. The best for me, we got a second Galactus. I'm joking, but I mean that was pretty good. And a lot of people play him way more than they play the OG. Way more than they play the OG, which, by the way, the OG made a comeback too. So it's kind of a Galactus year, and I kind of like that. I got to see him on the big screen in Fantastic Four, which was amazing. But yeah. So that's one of the characters I didn't mind that they kind of redid because. Look, the Galactus had to probably have a little bit of a redo. So that wasn't bad. So that's one of my best, of course. I mean, of course you knew that would be. The returning player thing that Second Dinner did, I think was was a good. I think that's a best thing, because that had to happen. That was one of the things that so many of the people that have been on my show over the years, like creators and stuff like that, have been talking about. Something to bring back players to the game. That needed to be a priority, and it seemed, and they did it. Now, I haven't gotten to talk to a lot of people. Or I'm sorry, what am I saying? Not the returning player thing. I'm talking the new player thing. I'm talking about the thing where they get the Thanos and stuff like that. So I'm new player stuff. I think giving people access to an early Thanos deck and other things like that, I think it's a good idea. And anything that's going to get people back into the game and keep them for a while, I think is a smart thing to do. Other bests. Let's see, what else do we have? I think the skill cards are a best, I would say. I think putting the skill cards in here, and I told you guys the reason why I think that's happening. I think that's happening because we are going to eventually get a draft mode. I don't know exactly when it's going to be or where or how, but I do believe that these cards are looking more and more like they can be generically used in a lot of different decks. And they're making the skill cards a little more generic. They're making them all Series 4. That, to me, screams of a draft mode. Because now as I said earlier, I said this about 4 or 5 months ago, we're getting more cards. We're getting 11 cards, 10 cards. And we're getting a lot more skills. And the skills can be used in just about any deck when you think about it. So I really think this could be the year that we might finally see a new game mode. And I think that that's going to be a draft mode. And maybe that'll finally put Conquest to bed once and for all and just get rid of it. I wouldn't even care about losing the free card that I've been getting every month from Conquest, the free variant. I would gladly have that gone for a draft mode. Because draft mode is going to invigorate everyone. It's going to invigorate all the players, can invigorate all the content creators. Because we're all going to be able to talk about a different way to play the game. There's going to be people streaming more now if a draft mode comes out. Just to show, we're already seeing, people like Dexter, who plays like draft style games against Binks and other people. Regis has been on there, playing. So they're already kind of doing it. Imagine if they get an actual supported draft mode. How much better that would make their lives, because you would see, the people that are streaming the game, because you'd be able to watch something different, something new, which I think everybody wants to do. So I'm predicting that that's going to be a best of this year. That I think we're finally going to get something new. And we did. And I'll even name best as some of the other new game modes we got. I like Team Clash. I know that maybe my opinion differs from a lot of people with that, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was different. It was very comic book like, which I love. And so I think that was fun. The Grand Arena I think is fun. Now, this past one, I know I could do without just the pre-made decks for Grand Arena. I think they should go back to the way it was, where you can play the pre-made or you can make your own. I think they should. I think they need to go back to that. Having all pre-made decks is not what people wanted. In fact, the last Deadpool's Diner was even really good, but I think that was really good because of the rewards that everybody got. Was the reason I think that was as good as it was, because they were extremely generous in the last Deadpool's Diner. So we'll see if that continues, and whether or not we're gonna get that. So, what else? Well, I'm gonna name a best as me being named as a official content creator for Marvel Snap, and I'm not gonna I'm not going to go on about it, but I never expected it. Never expected it. And I am grateful to all of you. I'm grateful to Second Dinner for being chosen. And that was like, I mean, and it happened just about at the end of the year. So that was definitely a best for me. My first ever, what's it called? I'm trying to think of a word off the top of my head. My first ever collab with a creator, which is very cool. Well, the other best I'm going to say is all the people who I've met, creators who've been on my show that I got to know a little bit better, people that I've become friends with that are in the Snap community, all of you guys that listen to the show every week and comment and have sent me in stuff for the request line section of the show and have sent me in lyric challenge answers and all that kind of stuff. Definitely a best for me. Because as I've said before, if it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this talking to myself. So thank you. And so there you go. That is the best and worst, a look back at Marvel Snap for this past year in 2025. So, and like I said, I think we're going to get some exciting stuff in 2026. Stay tuned for the OTA, guys. It's going to be a good one. Going to be a good one. Just saying. All right. We're going to go into this really quickly. Now, I was supposed to use this as a poll, and I didn't. But again, you guys can answer after the fact. Along with your best and worst, tell me what season pass card from 2025 was your favorite. What season pass card was your absolute favorite of this year? Could mean you played in almost every deck. Could mean you just love the card. You just love the card. For me, it's going to go to Iron Patriot. I loved it since it came out. I thought it was such a well-done card. And I love the character. Good old Norman Osborn, man. But I loved the style of it. I thought it was great. I'll give a little kudos to Sam Wilson's cap with the shield. And also kudos to, and this came a lot later in the year for me. I never jumped on the Merlin train. Never jumped on it. I tried to play it in a couple decks. It just never caught on with me. But now I'm feeling the power. Just like He-Man when he said, "I have the power." I'm feeling the Merlin power. So in the recent deck that I'm playing, I'm seeing the benefit to that, and don't know why it passed me up before. I'm old, so I'm a little slow in the uptake sometimes. But yeah, I'm feeling the power of Merlin now. So I'm seeing what all you guys see there. So, but that they are probably my three best season pass cards of the month. But I'm going to go with Iron Patriot as my number one. I still think that one is the best one. So let me know what yours are. All right. We are going to move on. And we're going to... what? I was going to skip... Because this is a New Year's pod, a little bit different. Well, I think I might skip the Snap talk part of it, because we've been talking Snap with these last two sections anyway. So I will just tell you to get to 98 that I'm using the Victoria Hand Wiccan deck, which also does have Merlin in it, by the way, which is doing pretty well. The only couple games I lost last night, I lost both, I think, to a discard deck. One was Khonshu discard, so kind of just general discard. They had Weapon H in there. And the other one was a weird list. It was discard, but they also had they had the zombies in there, but they also had Scarlet Witch in there. So it's kind of a combination of zombies along with discard. But they were the only two matches that I lost last night when I was playing. But the Victoria Wiccan deck is pretty good. It's pretty good. Galactus First Steps is in there and stuff as well. So, but that's the deck I played that has gotten me pretty much through the 90s to where I am now, to 98. So, I usually go over variants and stuff like that, and the shop and all that. But yeah, we're getting to the end of the month. There was a couple albums that appeared in there and stuff. Oh, I got the Jean Grey emote that you were able to get from one of the albums. So I got that. I did get that, and I did get some other variants and stuff like that too. But nothing to really write home about, I don't think. Now that I'm trying to remember without looking at the game, but yeah. So we'll skip that. We'll go past that, and we are going to go over to Comics Corner. So we're going to go to Comics Corner. And we are going to, I jumped the gun here in this because I said we're going to go to, that we're going to talk about Shao Lao and Lockheed. Well, no, that's going to be next week's Comics Corner. We are going to talk about the last card of this month. We are going to talk about Fantomex, to round out our month. And then we'll go to my picks of the week for books. And then we'll go over to the MCU Minute. All right, so we're gonna look at Fantomex in comics. And we're gonna talk a little bit about him. I of course spelled that wrong, so that didn't work. So let's go to that. Oh, by the way, I didn't say it. Nobody guessed the lyric. But you know what it was? It was the song from The Year Without a Santa Claus, which is one of my favorite little claymation shows that I watch. And it was the one about the heat miser. They call me heat miser, whatever I touch. I love that one. It's one of my favorite ones ever. And it's so good. So that was what the lyric was from. Nobody guessed it, but I figured I'd give you the answer. All right, so let's go to Fantomex, shall we? First published in New X-Men number 128 in August 2002. Grant Morrison and Igor Kordy were the people that created him. His alter ego is Charlie Cluster. He is a human mutate, cyborg, affiliated with Weapon Plus program, X-Force, and X-Men. Notable aliases: the Mutant Man of Mystery, Jean-Philippe Charles, and Weapon 13. His abilities: external nervous system manifested as techno-organic flying ship, enhanced reflexes and healing factor, hypnotic illusions, cybernetic mind, skilled marksman, acrobat, and hand-to-hand combatant. Fantomex is a superhero appearing in Marvel Comics. Resembles the character of the Italian comic book Diabolique and its film adaptation Danger Diabolique. The character of Diabolique was in turn loosely based on the character Fantomas, the subject of a series of early 20th century French detective thrillers and a popular Mexican comic book adaptation who Fantomex is named for. Wow, okay. Fantomex's name, Jean-Philippe, is a reference to actor John Philip Law, who started Diabolique in Danger Diabolique. In addition, his Weapon X designation, Weapon 13, is a reference to the secret agent protagonist of the Franco-Belgian comic 13. That's cool. Debuted in X-Men number 128. and was created by Grant Morrison and Igor Kordy. Marvel announced that the character's first solo series, Fantomex Max, written by Andrew Hope and illustrated by Sean Crystal. The series does not take place in current Marvel continuity, and the character is not affiliated with any other Marvel characters. In this series, the character of Fantomex is a more literal take on the Diabolique character, with a storyline less influenced by traditional superhero plots, skewing more towards the concepts of intrigue and adventure. Issue number 1 debuted on October 2nd, 2013. Fantomex then made sporadic guest appearances with the X-Men until October 2010, when he has a permanent member of the new Uncanny X-Force, with Rick Remender and Jerome Opeña as the creative team. The series ran for 35 issues and explored Fantomex's background and developed his character. Then was added to the short-lived X-Force Volume 4, which lasted 15 issues. Was returned to the X-Men and Uncanny X-Men Volume 4, issues 8 to 18. Fantomex was added to the roster of the 4th volume of Astonishing X-Men with his apparent death in issue 6 and final appearance in issue 7. In August 2020, Fantomex returned in Giant Size X-Men, Fantomex number 1, a solo one-shot comic. Created by the Weapon Plus program to serve as a Super Sentinel, Weapon Plus creates a population of techno-organic organisms whose living tissues fuse with Sentinel nanotechnology, being fertilized with nanomachines, resulting in the birth of Fantomex. Like the rest of his people, he's born and raised in the world, a man-made environment designed to create Super Sentinels. Media-friendly mutant hunters modeled after Saturday morning cartoons. Fantomex claims to have been raised in a virtual version of France with imperfect programming. He develops a French sense of identity and persona, while his experiment designation is Charlie Cluster 7. He usually goes by the name Jean-Philippe. During his first appearance, he seeks a safe haven at X Corporation in Paris while fleeing from the authorities. Claims to be a mutant thief with the ill-defined power of misdirection. Bleeding profusely from bullet wounds, he asks for asylum, which Professor X grants him. He explains to Professor X and Jean Grey that he's being hunted because he's one of the most wanted thieves in Europe. Neither Professor X nor Grey are able to verify his claims due to his ceramic mask, which blocks their mental probes. However, they agree to aid him. And after escaping the soldiers who surrounded the building, Fantomex uses his ship, Eva, to take Professor X and Grey to his home in France. While there, he introduces them to his mother and continues to describe his success as a thief. He tells the two that he has stolen sensitive information about the Weapon Plus project while in the tunnel, and offers to sell it to Professor X for $1 billion. After submitting his proposal, Fantomex puts himself in a light hypnotic trance and removes the bullets that riddle his body. Finished, he asks Professor X and Grey to accompany him back to the tunnel in an effort to destroy Weapon 12. Then leads Professor X and Jean Grey to the tunnel, which is filled with people and animals that Weapon 12 has turned into mindless slaves. Knowing that those who have fallen prey to Weapon 12's influence are lost, Fantomex kills Darkstar and all others who are mentally connected to the creature. After Fantomex destroys Weapon 12 by using a remote detonator, it is noticed that there are 2 empty Weapon Plus transport tubes in the tunnel, one that held the violent Weapon 12 and another that held something called Weapon 13. After the battle, the ceramic mask slips slightly, allowing Grey to deduce his true identity as Weapon 13. Fantomex is revealed to have been in transit in the tunnel, but escaped and was subsequently chased to the X Corporation building. Assures Grey that he refuses to be anyone's soldier, Grey allows Fantomex to disappear into the tunnel before the authorities arrive. Fantomex tries to track down Sublime, the director of Weapon Plus. However, upon examining his empty grave, finds a note reading Roanoke. He locates the secret facility of the Splinter program, Weapon X, and finds it abandoned except for Agent Zero. The pair reluctantly joined forces and travel to the site of Roanoke, town whose inhabitants were slaughtered after Weapon X unleashed a brainwashed Wolverine on them years earlier. There the three encounter Sublime, but are opposed by his U-Men and forced to flee against overwhelming odds. In an attempt to escape Eva, Fantomex is shot and left for dead. Manages to survive. Sometime later is contacted by the diminutive mutant Shortpack, who seeks his help in assisting mutant arms dealer Steinbeck. In revenge for killing of an agent under Shortpack's care, Fantomex refuses, not wanting to become responsible for allowing Shortpack to become a killer. Shortpack is captured by Steinbeck soon after, and whilst investigating his disappearance, Mystique learns of his meeting with Fantomex. Though despising him after a past encounter in Madagascar, Mystique finds Fantomex in Monte Carlo, once again operating under the pretense of being a mutant thief, and learns of Shortpack's plan. As she leaves to rescue him, Fantomex follows and uncovers her intent to assassinate Xavier. In exchange for his silence, Fantomex bids Mystique perform a heist for him. After she returns with the stolen goods, a vintage Spider-Man costume, Mystique infects Fantomex and Eva with a techno-organic virus, seemingly killing both to keep her plans secret. However, it was all a ruse, as Mystique knew she was being monitored by Steinbeck's ally Shepard. Fantomex later resurfaces and helps Mystique capture Shepard, giving her access to Steinbeck, whom she finally defeats. He's been in Dark Reign, Nation X, and Second Coming, Uncanny X-Force, X-Force and Uncanny X-Men, and Astonishing X-Men. His powers and abilities has an external nervous system, referred to as EVA, that resembles a techno-organic flying saucer. The relationship between EVA and Fantomex is symbiotic, so if EVA experiences pain when she is not within Fantomex, he will feel it as well. Fantomex is mentally linked to EVA and can control her movement. Eva, can exchange her or reshape her body into a variety of forms, fly, and generate energy discharges. Fantomex can create realistic illusions. He calls this ability misdirection. This ability is based on reality skewing rather than telepathy or holographic projection. He's a skilled hand-to-hand combatant and gunfighter. He once used special ceramic bullets covered in sentient mutant skin that never missed their target. Fantomex is a skilled hand-to-hand combatant. Mask incorporates telepathy, blocking ceramics that render him completely immune to telepathy. He originally had 3 brains. Wow. With distinct personas and characteristics that were used for parallel and independent thinking in conjunction with his blood. These 3 brains allowed him to survive severe head wounds, since his secondary and tertiary brains could take over should one be destroyed. He lost these abilities after being resurrected, with all 3 brains being placed in separate clone bodies. Kofi Outlaw of comicbook.com said Fantomex quickly became a fan favorite character from the X-Men comics. English actor Ed Skrein praised Fantomex and called him one of his favorite characters, expressing interest in portraying him. 2014, Entertainment Weekly ranked him 44th in their Let's Rank Every X-Man Ever list. CBR ranked him 5th in their X-Force 20 Powerful Members list. He has other versions, Days of Future Now, Here Comes Tomorrow. Other media, he was in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, non-speaking cameo. Playable character in Avengers Alliance. Playable character in Future Fight. Playable character in Strike Force. And Series 5 card in Marvel Snap. There you go. Collected editions, Fantomex Max 1-5 from March 26, 2014. And then Giant Size X-Men by Jonathan Hickman. So there you go. All you needed to know about Fantomex. And now we are going to hit the app up. The Marvel Unlimited app. See what's new. And we're also going to look at Fantomex. There he is. Got details about him. A technologically advanced weapon plus super soldier. He utilizes 3 brains, an external nervous system called EVA, nanoactive blood, and a huge ego as a thief turned occasional hero. He looks pretty cool here. He's wearing white and purple. So he's got the white with the kind of like Black Boltish lightning going down it, white jacket. Got the mask that only you can only see his eyes. It's a little like White Tiger too with the way the mask is, but it's purple. And in this particular picture, he has a purple gun as well. So fashionable. Let's look and see. Okay, you can see here we got issue number 1, which came out in 2020. Giant Size X-Men Fantomex. So that's all about him. Got Astonishing X-Men from 2017-2018, issue number 8. Issue number 7. issue number 4, issue number 2, and issue number 1. So he's in all those. You got Uncanny X-Men number 16. Looks like he's there with that. Looks like it's Jean Grey, I believe. More Uncanny X-Men Wolverine and the X-Men. X-Force. Uncanny X-Force. On the cover of a bunch of these too. Fear Itself with Uncanny X-Force. So yeah, all right. So good amount of stuff that you can find certainly on Fantomex. If you'd like to go and check it out, obviously, if you cannot get to your local bookstore, and if you don't have one near you, the Marvel app is the way to go. $9.99 a month. All right, let's see what we have in the shop. I have not read that Boba Fett Black, White, and Blood yet. I will be. Ultimate Spider-Man number 21 is out. Oh, it pains me every time I say it. Captain America, the new version, is up to issue number 3. Let's go to new this week. Strange Tales Infinity comic, which is exclusive to the app, has Scarlet Witch. It's issue number 3. Marvel Rivals Unleashed Infinity comic, which is exclusive to the apps, up to issue 11. Got Vision and Scarlet Witch, issue number 4. Battle World, issue number 1. Wow, Battle World, issue number 1, huh? What's going on in this? The Battle World from Secret Wars returns. Slay your enemies, prove your worth, and all you desire shall be yours in the world to come. Heroes from across the multiverse are thrown together on a patchwork world to engage in their own secret wars for the survival of their timelines. Who or what has created this battle world, and for what nefarious purpose? Enter Maestro. Is he friend or foe? Wow, okay. Going to see a lot of this kind of stuff coming out this year for sure because of the Doom stuff. Ultimate Hawkeye. That's brand new. Now, they said that they were stopping the Ultimate series. Why would they be just coming out with an Ultimate Hawkeye? I wonder if they changed their minds. Ultimate Spider-Man, as I said, issue number 21. Death of the Silver Surfer, issue number 4, which has been very good. It looks like Galactus is on the cover, as is Thanos. Spider-Man Wolverine, issue number 5. We have Storm, issue number 12. We have X-Men 2024, issue number 22. We have The Thing, issue number 5. Emma Frost, White Queen, issue number 4. The Mortal Thor, issue number 2. X-Men Age of Revelation Infinity comic, exclusive to the app, issue number 9. Jeff the Land Shark, issue number 4. All new Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider, issue number 2. Black Cat, issue number 2 in her own series. Predator, Black, White, and Blood, issue number 3. That's up to. Spider-Girl, issue number 4. Vision and Scarlet Witch, issue number 5. Daredevil, issue number 25. Dr. Aphra from Star Wars, issue number 4. And Venom, Black, White, and Blood is getting an issue number 2. Okay. All right. All right, so there you go. And now, that is your Comics Corner. We are going to now go to the MCU Minute. And we're going to do a quick review of the THOR trailer. And I will play the sound for you guys like I did the last time. So until I get into trouble and get yelled at and say I can't. But, all right, so let's see. We got... I have to tell you guys about a new band I'm listening to, too. brand new band I just started listening to today. I love discovering new bands, always did. Back in the 80s, I would watch a lot of MTV, and I would watch Headbangers Ball, they called it. And it would be all like metal, right? Like the hair metal, of course, was prevalent then, and stuff like that. And Metallica was kind of coming into their own, and I would always watch Headbangers Ball. And from there, I would hear new songs. They would play like new bands, new singles from bands and stuff. And that's how I would kind of discover a lot of bands that I would end up liking, just from seeing it on there and then going out and getting the cassette. And that was the time before CDs, guys, before CDs. But yeah, so I love discovering new bands or listening to new bands for the very first time. And I'll let you know who that band is in a little bit. But here we go. This is the official trailer for Thor Doomsday. We're going to skip this little ad. There, we got an ad. All right, we're going to skip that. All right, here we go.
Father, all my life I have answered every call to honor, duty, to war.
We're, of course, walking in the woods.
But now fate has given me something I never sought.
He's praying to Odin, because, of course, Odin passed away. Odin is in Valhalla.
A child. A life untouched by the storm.
And that, of course, is his daughter
Grant me the
from the
strength of
last
the
movie.
old fathers, so that I may fight once more, defeat one more enemy, and return home to her, not as a warrior, but as warmth, to teach her not battle, but stillness, the kind I never knew. Please, Father, heed my words.
And then it says Thor will return in Avengers Doomsday. And again, you get the Doomsday clock at the very end. So, very cool. So basically what he was doing, he was just walking kind of through the woods. And obviously where his father's grave is, or you know, where memories of his father reside. And he's praying to Odin and you can see where these trailers are similar with the one with Chris Evans, as you know, they're both kind of looking like they're preparing for some sort of big battle or big event. And what I like about this is we're getting the serious Thor back. So the Taika Waititi Thor might be finally gone away. We definitely got a serious Thor in this trailer. And he is, you know, definitely looked like he's preparing for battle. So it was kind of cool. And obviously it says the mighty Thor will return in Avengers Doomsday. So yeah, so pretty cool. And this week's is going to be huge when it releases on the Marvel site, because it is all about the X-Men, and oh man, I can't wait to narrate that one for you guys, because it is badass. I've seen it, so it is badass. But yeah, I'm super excited about that, and getting more and more excited about Doomsday. I did put this out. Let me see if I still have it. Just a couple little clip things that I had, but I did put out the Marvel slate for the year. At least I think I did. Yeah, there it is. Obviously, of course, we have Secret War is going to be, how about that? So Secret War, right? Because, I mean, this year we're getting Doomsday. Secret War is the following year in December. And Secret War is going to begin filming in the summer. And then the Avengers Endgame is being re-released in September. So now that's after Spider-Man. Remember I was saying I wasn't sure if they were going to re-release that before Spider-Man or after. Well, that is definitely after Spider-Man. Spider-Man's coming out in July. So I'm going to be going to see Endgame in September, and I guarantee you there will be Well, first of all, there's probably going to be some amazing popcorn buckets. There might be a big Thanos popcorn bucket, which I'm probably going to have to get. But there's going to probably be a brand new trailer at the end of Endgame, because you can bet they're going to want people to go see this. I mean, we should all go see it, because we should have it beat out Avatar. We just should. And then, of course, next year is Avengers Doomsday. But I think I also had... Did I put this out there? Oh, some of you guys actually did give me your card ranks. My comic book collection gave me his. I don't have all the season pass cards, so he has Merlin number 1, Sam Wilson's Cap number 2, Zombie Scarlet Witch number 3, Iron Patriot number 4, Captain Carter number 5, Mr. Fantastic First Steps number 6, Spider-Punk number 7, Agamotto number 8, and Weapon X number 9. Vladimir off of X says Merlin, Agamotto, Mr. Fantastic First Steps, Zombie Scarlet Witch, and Sam Wilson. Kinalo says Captain Carter number 1, Merlin number 2, Galactus First Steps number 3, Zombie Scarlet Witch number 4, Iron Patriot number 5, Esme Cuckoo number 6, Viv number 7, Spider-Punk number 8, Weapon X number 9, Sam Wilson number 10, Mr. Fantastic First Steps is number 11, and Agamotto is number 12. So a couple of you gave those to me. I could have sworn I put this up, but I guess I didn't. I think I went over the Marvel stuff. Well, you know what? This is a DC one for next year. So this is all the stuff that's coming to DC in 2026. So not only are we getting all the Marvel stuff, I mean, I went over it, I think, last week or the week before. We're getting Wonder Man is coming in very soon, actually. They're just dropping that whole series. Then we're going to get Daredevil. Then we're getting Spider-Man 97. We're getting X-Men 97, Season 2. We're getting Spider-Man 90. Well, I call it Spider-Man. Spider-Man the Animated Series. We're getting that Season 2. Then we're getting Vision Quest, which is toward the end of the year. So we're getting a lot of Marvel content this year, but DC has theirs out too. So Man of Tomorrow, which is the next Superman film, is filming in April. The Batman Part 2, that's the one with, the one that the Penguin spun off of, what's his name? What is the actor's name? He played the sparkly vampire. Oh my, Robert Pattinson. That's filming in May. Rumors that Scarlett Johansson is going to be in that. We're getting the Batman, the Lego Batman movie, which is May 29th, which I'll probably want to see because it's called The Legacy of the Dark Knight, and it's going through all the films, which is going to be fun. Batman Nightfall, one of my all-time favorite books. That's the origin, basically, of Bane and where Bane comes from and how Bane breaks his back. They kind of adapted it a little bit in The Dark Knight Rises, but not all together. You didn't get a lot of the backstory and stuff with Bane in the prison and everything like that. So I'm really looking forward to the animated version of that. DC does animated stuff really, really well. That's to be determined, but it's coming out in 2026. Supergirl, which I thought the trailer was great, 2026. That is June 20th. Lanterns with Green Lantern, of course, Hal Jordan. And that's going to be out summer of 2026. And then we've got Clayface, which is an out-and-out horror film coming out September 11th of 2026. So that'll be interesting to see that. Character I always kind of liked. I always liked Clayface as a villain. And it'll be interesting to see how they do that. And again, a completely different type of movie there. So a lot of stuff coming out for DC this year as well. And we'll quickly go and see if there's any MCU news. this might be a bit of a spoiler. This is from Screen Rant. The MCU just confirmed major X-Men villains will appear in Avengers Doomsday. Let's see what they're talking about here. Oh, the Sentinels. Well, to be fair, the Sentinels were kind of confirmed for a while because of the... there was a dude who ended up getting into the set that they were filming on. Climbed a tree and got into the set. And when he was there, he was taking a whole bunch of pictures. And they saw what looked like, and pretty much everybody had to kind of assume because of the color purple, that there were like dead, Sentinels laying in the scene. So that's not really new. New MCU reveal confirms Civil War never really ended, just as Avengers Return. MCU threw a massive curveball to fans when Captain America and Iron Man took sides in Civil War. Not to those who read the comics. In the first trailer for Wonder Man, which hits on the 27th, January 27th, looks like the government taking action against all unregistered superheroes is still in effect. It also appears that the Department of Damage Control, DODC, is still in charge of dealing with dangerous superheroes, even those who aren't trying to be heroes. Wonder Man first appeared to show an actor who wanted to play Wonder Man in a new movie for an award-winning director who wanted to do something different to deal with superhero fatigue. However, the first full trailer shows that is not all there is to it. This is Simon Williams from the comics, and he does have superhuman powers, as he does in the comics. However, he hides them, tries not to use them, and just wants to live his life as an actor. Damage Control considers him a threat, and the trailer makes it look like they're hunting him down. Was also forced to sign a form that said he had no superpowers, meaning that the superhero segregation is still in effect. While She-Hulk revealed that the Sokovia Accords had ended, the government is still hunting down heroes. This is a curious sign heading into the upcoming events of Avengers Doomsday, when brand new heroes show up on Earth in the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. Interesting, okay. MCU's fate will be decided in 2026, according to experts, but there is a reason no one is worried. So, from MovieWeb. Just like many people believed 2025 would be the year that proved whether superheroes had a place in cinema, with the performances of Superman and Fantastic Four First Steps being closely scrutinized, with both movies along with Thunderbolts and Captain America Brave New World underperforming in cinemas, the future now uncertain for one of the biggest movie franchises ever. Before letting the experts have their say, the numbers reveal how Marvel Studios and DC Studios have become less profitable than they could have been 5 years ago. For Marvel, the combined gross of their three 2025 movies did not gross as much as 2024's Deadpool and Wolverine. Spider-Man No Way Home grossed $1.91 billion. Deadpool and Wolverine did $1.38 billion. With that in mind, 2026 is now the most important year for Marvel Studios. While James Gunn and Peter Safran seem to have little time to continue building up support for their DCU, Feige's MCU needs to land two massive movies this year, something industry experts seem to be agreed on. Senior media analyst at ComScore said 2026 may be the most important year for the MCU other than its inception. Phase 6 is vitally important if there's going to be a Phase 7. Response by the fans and the box office dipped with Captain America Brave New World back in February. Marvel Studios should be box office gold. While there are no guarantees in theatrical releases anymore, with movies that should be completely buried, managing to overperform against expectations, and big-budget blockbusters struggling to make back their costs. However, as exhibitor relations and analyst Jeff Bach agreed, both Spider-Man Brand New Day and Avengers Doomsday could easily surpass $1.5 billion each to set Marvel Studios back on the right track. If they fail, though, there is nowhere to hide, Bach said. They're really going all in on the big brands and the tried and true sort of bulletproof brands. When you look at that, there's no dog ate my homework excuse if they don't perform. Yeah, I mean, they are the biggest two names. I believe that they will perform well. And yeah, I think it's going to be a big year for Marvel and for DC. I think it's going to be a fun year in movies 2026. I've got a lot of things to look forward to. I have obviously Doomsday, Spider-Man, all the DC stuff I just read you. But along with comics, Mandalorian and Grogu's coming out, which I'll go see. I'm still hopeful that Star Wars can churn out a good movie at some point in time. I will, of course, Disclosure Day, the Steven Spielberg film I talked about. I'm very excited for that. And there's other movies I'm going to see too. There's going to, horror movies I mentioned, Scream 7, Silent Hill 2. I'll be going to see those. So this will be a big year, I think, for me going to the movies. So I'll be using up my Cinemark tickets pretty quickly for this year. So, all right. The video game front, I don't really have too much. There was just a lot going on with the holidays and things like that. I haven't really gotten to play. I told you I started that Claire Obscure game, or Claire Oscar game, and I like it a lot. I think it's very, very good. I would definitely recommend it if you have a PlayStation. And so that's going to be what I'll be playing for the most part. And also there's some other stuff. I think I saw that they're bringing out a remake of the old Jaws game that came out for the old Nintendo. So it's going to be like an 8-bit game or a 16-bit game that they're re-releasing, which sounds fun. I can remember playing it. So that's coming up. And then, a lot of other big releases are coming out in video games this year as well. So, all right. Well, that is looking like we have reached the end. And let's see here. Yeah, we're at around an hour and 45 minutes. Not too bad. I don't like to keep you guys, for a whole 2 hours, especially when it's, it's after the holidays and stuff like that. Not sure who will be listening or how long you'll be listening, but yeah. So let's get ourselves a lyric. Now, if you were paying attention, to the pod, you will probably get this one pretty easily. This is not Marvel related. This is just a test of how you're paying attention. All right, here we go. I play along with the charade. There doesn't seem to be a reason to change. I feel so dirty when they start talking cute. I want to tell her that I love her, but the point is probably moot. So there you go. If you were paying attention, you should know exactly what this one is. One of my all-time favorites. So, all right, guys. Well, there you go. That is going to do it for me for Snap Decisions for this week. Again, this will be available on all the podcasting formats, Spotify, Apple, you name it. But it'll also be over on my YouTube page. So if you want to go over there, you can look at the cool title screen and you can listen to the audio there. Whichever you'd like to do. But if you are going to go over there, please make sure that you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And then I will be getting more details on the season pass giveaways. Once I get them, you will hear about it. I will be giving those away. And then what else? We have a OTA coming up very soon. Which I will do. I will do something on. I will do a quick podcast to cover it and talk about it. Not a very big one, but it is going to be pretty impactful, I would say. So stay tuned for that. And otherwise, I am part of the Snap Judgments League of Podcasts, where you can hear such amazing podcasts as Snap Judgments, a Glazers pod that he does now with Nick the Greek Geek quite often. Roy will make an appearance there every now and then, and he usually has some amazing content creators on that pod. So make sure you go and check out Glazers pod, which comes out, I think, on the weekends, Friday or Saturday, and also go check out his streams as well when he does them. Great dude, been on my podcast several times. and was very instrumental in helping me get to be part of that creator program. So make sure you check that out. And of course, also snap on this, where of course you will find Benjamin Roller, you will find It's Just Ree, and you will find the host of the show, Lauren Whatevs. So go check them out. They will be doing their card ranks for the new cards and stuff like that on this week's pod as well. So go check that out. That comes out every single Friday. Now, I don't know if they'll be delayed a little bit because of the holidays. They might be. But go check that out as well. And yeah. Other than that, guys, that is going to do it for your Snap DJ for this week. Enjoy your last few days of this Weapon X month. Read some comics because it's fun. And of course, enjoy Marvel Snap however it is you choose to enjoy the game. And hopefully, I will talk to you all on the next episode of Snap Decisions. This is your... Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. Real quick before I go, that new band that I'm listening to, and I just downloaded their album to iTunes. They are called Sleep Token. Sleep Token. Oh, man, dude. I listened to like 2 or 3 of their songs. I love them. I think they're fantastic. If you guys have listened to them, let me know. Holy. I'm into it. The lead singer's voice is awesome. They wear costumes, so you don't know who they are. You don't see them. Very much like another band that a friend got me into in Ghost, that take on personas and stuff on stage. But I am loving them so far. Sleep Token sounds, they are awesome. Go check them out. A recommendation from your Snap DJ. All right, guys, that is going to do it. Have a great rest of your holiday week if you're still celebrating. Please stay safe. Be kind to one another always, and hopefully I will talk to you on the next episode of Snap Decisions. This is your Snap DJ, the 2026 version, signing off.